It was a busy morning for crews at Providence Park. Not for a soccer game, but for the arrival of Post Malone, Jelly Roll, and the thousands of fans expected to attend the concert tonight. Here's a live look over the park with the gates expected to open in about the next half hour. And then performances start at 6 with Chandler Walters. Thanks so much for joining us here at 5. I'm John Adams. Along with us tonight, meteorologist Joe Ranieri. Joe, what are the weather conditions looking like for the fans over at Providence Park tonight?
Absolutely gorgeous for the thousands who will be hanging out just down the street from here, our studios here in the Goose Hollow neighborhood. We're looking at temperatures right now in the mid to the upper 70s. A gorgeous late June afternoon and evening out there. 77 at PDX. Beaverton, you're seeing temperatures right around 79 degrees, and you get a little farther out of the city, you're seeing temperatures just a little bit warmer. Along the Oregon coast, it's the mid-60s right now. As we go into the later part of this evening, by the time the show gets underway, temperatures right around 6 or so will be probably right around the mid-70s or so, and going into about 9:15, 9:30, we'll cool off into the upper 60s. But looking into tomorrow, we'll see our temperatures really warm up. It's been kind of a cool start to summer with temperatures kind of warm and then kind of going on the cooler side. Well, the next 2 days, or I should say 3 days, starting tomorrow, will be somewhat hot for some of us. As that ridge of high pressure starts to develop, we're looking at clear skies from beginning to end for your Sunday, and that's going to carry over into Monday as well. Tomorrow we'll be looking at 90 degrees, well above average, so definitely starting to warm up over the next couple of days. If you like heat, you're going to like tomorrow. You'll especially like Monday. I'll let you know what that means coming up in my detailed forecast.
All right, Joe, thank you. We'll see you then.
I was just up in the Stadium District. Prior to coming here, I was over on 23rd. I mean, the city's alive. There's a lot of people out and about, and although a little bit congested in a good way.
Portland Police Chief Bob Day assuring confidence ahead of that concert following a series of shootings overnight that left more than a dozen people hurt. The most notable happened just before 12:30 last night, where a teen allegedly fired more than 24 shots at a private event with more than 100 people in attendance. 4 people, including a 15-year-old, were hit and taken to the hospital. They're all expected to survive. The suspect, a 16-year-old male, now in juvenile detention on multiple counts of attempted murder. Now, just a half hour later, at a convenience store off of Northeast Lombard, officers responded to an incident where a man was shot in the jaw. The suspect in this case has not yet been found. And then through the morning, 2 different cases where people were shot in the legs, one at around 4:15 at North Maryland. Then the one you see here, which took place just after 9:30 at Southwest 12th and Columbia. In both cases, the victims are expected to survive and the suspects were not found.
These acts cannot just be seen as accepted, but I couldn't be more proud of the way that the Portland Police throughout the night stretched incredibly thin, literally ran to the gunfire.
Now, all of this as Portland homicide detectives investigate the death of a man in police custody. It started as a disturbance call just after 10 o'clock on North Argyle Way off of Columbia Boulevard. Officers say a man was reportedly flooding his apartment with water and hanging knives from his window. Shortly after officers got there, officers called an ambulance. Paramedics started CPR and took the man to the hospital, where he later died. The officers in this case are now on leave as part of the investigation. The Oregon legislature ended their long biennial session late Friday night. Now, this session, which started in January, focused on a wide range of issues from the state, including from education, housing, and tackling mental health challenges. But when the gavel fell, there wasn't consensus on the massive transportation package that in part funds ODOT, the Oregon Department of Transportation. Governor Kotek held a rare Saturday press briefing this morning. And our Celine Stevens is here now live in the newsroom with more about what happens next for ODOT. Celine.
So, John, according to the governor, the next step includes layoffs for over 600 employees at the Oregon Department of Transportation. ODOT has been dealing with revenue problems for years, and with the failure of this package, this means no new funding or flexibility. Now, those notices are set to go out as soon as next week.
It was too big, it was too complicated. And I think that's what, at the end of the day, ran the calendar out.
The giant transportation package, House Bill 2025, was pushed by Democrats to shore up funding to address Oregon's chronic transportation funding challenges, but Republican lawmakers called it the largest tax hike in state history. It died Friday in session.
And their best idea was to crush Oregonians with more costs and more taxes. We're talking about an agency that needed a few $100 million to balance, and their response was a $12 billion transportation tax.
The smaller amended bill that was then pushed forward, House Bill 3402, also didn't make it when the gavel fell Friday. Governor Tina Kotek speaking on the outcome Saturday morning.
There was a lot of hard work to get it to a comprehensive transportation package, and legislators at the end of the day could not get that over the finish line.
Late Friday, Republicans said they could not support the package, saying Democrats went about it all wrong.
We are still leaving truckers at an imbalance. They're still overpaying their fair share. And this last ditch, what, 3402?
Yep.
I don't even know what it was because it
That's
never
what it
came
was.
out of the House.
Yeah.
But it would have made it worse.
And as we would reach across the aisle and we would say, there's plenty of money, let's redirect some of it, we were rebuffed, right? Like that wasn't their solution. Their solution was straight up new taxes at every turn.
They also said the late unveiling of the transportation package just a few weeks ago didn't give them enough time. As for Democrats, they also spoke out after the session, saying it's not that simple.
I would point to the process that led up to the session. I said in my closing speech that sometimes when things look easy, it's not that the thing was easy, it's that you put in a massive amount of work to get the thing done before it actually gets done in the legislature.
The $11.7 billion transportation package laid out a plan to raise funding through multiple channels, including a gas tax hike and new pay-per-mile tax system for electric vehicles. The other variable lawmakers faced was shifting federal funding, so many believed the state had to step up.
The federal government, unless I can see it, isn't coming in to start helping our local communities with their transit needs.
With the failure of the smaller bill, HB 3402, ODOT will have to adjust to the shortfall. They released this statement Saturday, stating that since last summer, ODOT has broadly shared that if the legislature did not address this shortfall during this legislative session, deeper cuts would have to start in the 2025 to 2027 biennium. They added that next week, ODOT will begin the layoff process. By the end of July, hundreds of positions will no longer be at ODOT. Still, Governor Kotek said there was hard and good work done during the session, with investments being made in mental health and addiction care, education, the homeless crisis, and dedicated funding for wildfires. But she had strong words directed at state GOP leaders.
For whatever reason, people couldn't come together as Oregonians to fund that. And I will put that at the feet of the folks who could have made that happen. And that is the Republican leadership.
As for what comes next,
today's another day. Today's a new day. We're going to figure this out, and I need every lawmaker. I don't care how tired you are. I don't care what your vacation plans are. We are going to solve this.
Now, when asked if there will be a special session, the governor simply said her job is to get the job done and that she has the tools at her disposal to get that done. Now, ODOT said that Oregonians will soon experience a less reliable transportation system, but they will do the best they can with their resources to keep Oregonians safe. We also reached out to Republicans this afternoon for their response to all this and expect to hear from some of them later tonight. John?
All right, Celine Stevens tonight. Celine, thank you so much for that comprehensive report. We are less than a week out until the 4th of July, and in Washington, legal sale of fireworks has kicked off. This was the scene at Mean Gene Fireworks out in Vancouver, where people were taking advantage of early bird sales. Now, we spoke to Mean Gene himself, who told us safety remains a top focus of his every year.
The big things that we're focusing on this year is disposal, because people can do everything right and then throw their used fireworks in a can or something, and they may smolder, and when everybody's asleep they catch on fire, and then you have a big problem. So we're encouraging everybody to wet everything down well before they dispose of them.
He reiterated fireworks are designed with safety in mind, but only if they are used as directed. Well, ahead of the holiday, temperatures are expected to warm back up to uncomfortably hot levels. That's why Multnomah County partnered with local groups and took part in a summer block party event today. Hosted by the Community for Positive Aging, volunteers and attendees got together to assemble and give out cooling kits.
We can bring people together to get resources and tools to help stay connected and safe. We feel really good about that, and it really is at the heart of our mission and ways that we can respond to community needs.
There was also some fun to be had out there today as well, including music, resource booths, and food.